It's funny, somebody's saying Larif Hakdila twice. So I was just talking about a word. And this word that I was mentioning and speaking in reference to was the word continue. And the word continue has the word and had the word cunt in the word continue. Okay? And so I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this is just a word. Wake up to reality. People wake up to reality and understand that the word in reality is a corrupted word. The word, people have to understand where is the word stemming from and realize that the word may be mixed and the word may be a corruption, a low vibrational energy, a different type of frequency, and the definition and the meaning and the equalization may be something that is something else. And that equals that people have to understand that what else is something else equaling to? What else is something else equaling to? And they're going to find that they have to be the basic principles, and that equals everyone. Everyone has to be the basic principles. It has to be the answer, it has to be truth, has to be the absolute answer. And being the most change, the most truth, you're essentially able to be the answer in any given element. So, element is any scenario, any type of it's so funny. It's like noise around my building and everything sounds funny to me around what's going on. Everything is a good energy. Talking about energy, those positive energy that I'm feeling from everywhere. It's fascinating. So this entire thing is so surreal and real. And the important point, the matter is to understand what is real, be real. The true self is the only thing that is real. I know my mustache looks weird. Everybody has different facial features, you know. We have different characteristics. And I think and I think people have to understand that their reality has to be of what is true. Okay? And what is true is what realistically matters. And what matters is realistically what is true. So that goes both quote unquote processes. And I usually say ways. And to be honest with you, I don't want to say the word ways. You know why? Because don't take that personal. You're supposed to understand that this is a true story. That the point is to understand what the truth is, and understanding is to practice and be the change of what we have to do. Being the change of what we're doing, we're making correct choices and decisions in any given element, and everything is working correctly. Yeah. So I think what people need to do and need to realize to do is, of course, be everything to do with just generally understanding everything, reading the book, knowing the person, obviously everything with agreements. And somebody's saying Christ. Okay, so look, we're all Christ. Consciousness. That's Christ. Christ, his teachings was love, was was actually realistically infinite love. He just had a different expression, and everybody else had a different expression. And so the idea behind what is true maybe the word, the idea, and behind, and the true to some people, if that makes sense. Well, if that doesn't, then neither does that to me either. With the true self, the person doesn't think about all of this. We have a beautiful painting here. This has been here for about, I don't know, some odd years. And so, very beautiful painting, regardless of anything else. Whoever drew this, yeah, very good painting. That's funny. Everything in life is good. You just have to understand yourself to be able to be around anything or anyone, understand everything and everyone else. That's who you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be true. Some people, something is delayed, something is lacked. Be careful. There's too many things. Be true. Be the answer. Okay? Wake up. Don't think in terms of one thing. Think in terms of multitude of things. And so I want to get a true measurement of what the measurement was so people can understand the true story. Because saying something is not just saying something. Something has to be. However, if the thought is true, that's what that matters. The thought, the sentence, the purpose, everything being true. So to be honest with you, getting the story correct is to know yourself. And to know your true self is always in control of everything else. I love everyone. This is true. Even after everything, I still saw people's life, how life can be. I was like, okay, all these elements, all these elements are true. All these elements are good. All these elements are correct. I'm seeing past people's wrongs. And I'm trying to tell people, hey, that's wrong of what you're doing. You can't do this. Those same people, they can do the correct thing, generally, if they can, if they can. They have to be the answer. Be the answer in terms of be truth, feel good, and make another person feel good in terms of. Some people are funny. They're seeing something in their perception, their perspective. That's good. However, does somebody want to see something for all of perspective? That's the answer. Because that's true reality. In terms of everything and everyone being true. That was funny. That was like the first time something happened while I just opened my fountain. I just thought something, I just visioned something. In terms of I understood something like that. And I heard something, so I was like, wow. So this is a different perception of what somebody else was thinking, that I possibly entered in this dimension. So we're in different dimensions too. I think what some people are doing is introducing a wide variety of things and doing something so shiny, they're seeing people's characters possibly. That's very funny, man. When you look at life in terms of what life is, it's definitely not the colors black and white. It's hues. Gale hue. So look, understand that you're wrong and admit you're wrong so you can make something true. Because some people believe what they want me to believe. I don't believe what they want me to believe. They got something else. There's something else that's not me. I was reading a quote yesterday. It said, fear. I was like, what? No one's supposed to fear anybody. Everybody's supposed to love everybody. Oh, man. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, you can't fear anybody, man. You know? No one's supposed to fear anyone. Everybody's supposed to respect each other. That equals people respecting themselves to respect each other, knowing who they are, understanding. And look, it depends on how people feel. They're tired of everything, how everything was, and everything's like, in like that particular element, and the other particular element, and the other particular, just like within of within, very, very fascinating. So I don't know what some people are saying, cool lava or something. Perception possibly within of a thought. Everybody should be updated with what is true. That's how everything will be solved. Everything else is false. Wow, we're such characters. We're humans. However, character is only one word. There's a wide variety of words of what we are. We have to get out of a predicament. We have to be puzzles to ourselves, to something or someone else. However, everything has to be true. Okay, so no, wake up to reality, not what something is in an element of reality. You know? Mother Earth, air, oxygen, water. I heard G unit. People are funny. We're good people. Very good people. We don't deserve anything less. We deserve to be true, and everything and everyone corresponding to each other according to who we are. However, before that, we have to know who we are. Doing so will be correct and true. Wow. Speaking about perspective, the important thing is everything is stopped in terms of any form of harm and nonsense to do with everybody knowing what that is. Everything in time can work correctly. Somebody said absolutely. Going back to being serious, not like something else. Like too many people possibly entertained. Well done. You know? Okay. Yeah, we know it's funny. You know? I'm not kidding. Reality of what reality is of everything is so fascinating. Wow. Yeah, so be me. Save animals, save people, save everything. That's what everybody needs to do. Save each other. Everything and everyone, saving everything and everyone. Until you do this, you don't know. You just think you know. You have to you get involved in too many things, too many dwells, too many this, too many that. You have to understand you can't do that. No one can. You gotta stop. So I think reality is what is true. So what is true is what is good. Everything else is nothing to do with what is true. What is good is in every element there's a just occurrence similar to a rhythm. So you want to do what I'm doing? That's up to you. You can. The heck, man? It's weird. So perception of reality is very, very significant of what reality, what everything is. That was a nonsense vision I saw. Needs to know where it's stemming from and stopped. Nothing wrong should be occurring. Everything, what is good benefit to self, life forms, planet, everything, saving, to save, is what is true. Hmm. Wow. So I just found this on my head. What? Oh, look, this was on my head. And this is similar to this. That somebody drew this. It's funny. So, wow. Reality, in terms of understanding everything, is important, significant, and that's what you need to do. In other words, understand in changing something that you know is wrong. You know what's fascinating? Through the myths, people are seeing reflections in each other. We're so fascinating, humans. So this is very fascinating in terms of what people are showing one another. The only thing is also be aware of each other. No one's messing with anything or anyone. Someone said exactly. Some people are giving me weird scenarios. I guess they want people to talk about their stories. The thing is everybody's story needs to be spoken about, and the answer of the story of to get out of a predicament and another predicament until everybody's where everything and everyone's supposed to be. I think this is where people may be mistaken. Um, reality. Okay. So different perspectives, different realities, different timelines, different everything, and also the same. What was that? That was like something I didn't realize what that was. Uh, no, I think there's some type of wrong math occurring. I don't think this wrong math has anything to do with reality. And so something or someone then infected something or someone else to lose also. And now what people are doing is they're trying to unravel all this, and unraveling all of this, then people are able to start from scratch and go from step one and step two and step three and continue thereof. So realistically, once the truth is known, so watching a video for the very few times that I watch my own videos. What is true? People have to practice what is true, and people therefore have to make truth be continuing. In other words, whatever is supposed to be affecting anybody, persistent, and influencing is supposed to realistically be true. And this is very, very significant to remember. Because remembering this will have very good effects in terms of people making. I don't know, some people are cussing or something. Have remember one thing, they have like 10, 100, and 1,000, and even more significations. If in fact something is true, of everything being correct and true, and everything having a different type of a interpretation of something. This is so fascinating. Everything about this is fascinating. What people realistically gave people, you know. So realistically, I guess from somebody's perception, somebody said I'm doing something deliberately in this moment of time. It's so fascinating. People know what the answer is. They don't. They should. It's very fascinating, man. The entire point is to remember all the lessons and understand and know what life is in terms of how everything is, and be able to return back to your true self. And your true self control your false self. Speaking of that,
You in the door with a free weekend trip or dinner or sometimes just a Visa gift card. Then they tell you it'll only take 90 minutes. That is the first lie they tell.
Allow yourself this time to find a comforting balance and centeredness within yourself. Find a comfortable spot where you can bring focus and attention for this time. Begin by breathing gently in and out. As you start to take notice of your pattern of breathing, just allow your arms and legs to release any tension.
wow,
Let gravity pull
it's the
them
way everything
gently
occurred.
downward.
All has to be reverted. The first step is everything be reverted. Anything
Continue
wrong
to feel that
for
gentle
truth
breath
to be
in
manifested.
and out.
And people doing live reactions to that pins, they get
And
wrong
again,
answers,
bring
so
your focus
wrong
and
results. Don't do
attention
that.
to it.
Just be true.
Your chest moving up and down, slowly and comfortably.
Mm.
And on your next breath, as you breathe out, just let your limbs relax even further.
Somebody's driving me like a flower.
Releasing any of that remaining tension.
Oh, it's funny, man.
During this time, you may become especially aware of your senses. The feeling of the surfaces you're touching against, the amount of light in the room. You may hear detailed sounds that may have otherwise gone unnoticed. And all of these
Stop
are
that.
fine.
So what I just visioned to do what
Just
I
allow
did
yourself
and
to
what's been going on
experience
in me,
these sensations and
neither
accept
one is
them
correct, man.
without judgment. Just take that time
Neither one is correct.
to find the centered feeling of the present moment. As you become increasingly
What I'm
aware
doing is correct. What people need to do is the same thing. Understand?
you will become open
You know,
to contemplate our topic of focus for today.
they should. Well, I can't say
Being
they should.
the
They should.
boundless.
I can't because makes sense doesn't make
Finding
sense.
acceptance and being your best self. What
Look,
does it
man.
mean to become the boundless? It means to unlock what we already have within us. It is to find acceptance within ourselves and with our surroundings. And ultimately, it is to make way for our best self to shine through. We will now do 5 short affirmations, or short phrases, which you can repeat after me, either out loud or in your head. And then we'll take a moment of silent contemplation to reflect. Let's try this now, repeating after me and allowing yourself to become more and more present here in this moment as we count. 5. I welcome this moment. 4. I become present.
So, moment.
3. I
That is what
open
life is.
my heart and mind.
Life is a moment. All moments have to
2.
be true.
Becoming my best self.
There's different elements of being true and different elements, and ultimately the person with true self being with the correct
1.
true of everything and how
Becoming
everything is.
the boundless. When we talk
So
about
animals,
being present,
I
it
feel
does
like
not mean that we cannot actively
I'm also an animal. I'm just a different label. We're all different types of animals. We have to be good animals to each other. Natural passing, technology, if you ask me, is the answer. Everything else is false. Forget about what you've learned, what you thought you knew was true, because it was false. So what people need to do is be true. Saving hands or nature. Uh, saving. Healing hands or nature. Caring hands or nature. So we're in different chapters, we're in different pages, and that's what needs to change. Because why? Because that doesn't make sense with what the truth is. And what needs to occur, according to the correct math, is there's supposed to be the formula. Plan A. Because, yeah, absolute, the person reaching the entire 100% self in all elements of reality, is the key. So that each element of reality is a time, is a space, is a setting, is a moment, is what occurs. Okay? So therefore, everything has to be from the most just of the true of what the truth is. Absolute in each element of reality. Okay? So in any given reality where anything is, people being the most correct in any element. And then being the most correct, most correct, most correct, most correct, most correct, most correct in any given element of reality is the person's true self, true identity, where something has to add on and make sense and be normal in terms of all elements being the answer similar to air, oxygen, or water. That's what's true. So Don't misunderstand. Understand correctly. When you understand correctly, you make correct choices, decisions. So the story always must be heard. Wow. That's fascinating. Very powerful. One of the most powerful upon the face of this earth. And if you don't know what upon the face of this earth equals, then you need to realize that to be the most powerful, you have to be the most true. Being the most true is being water. I would suggest glass, and I would suggest knowing what happened to the water, what the temperature was, what the amount was, where it was made, everything and all the details printed of everything. That's what everybody wants. That's what everybody needs to do. From one answer to the next answer to the next answer in terms of being on the same page, being aware and understanding. So just understand that there's no point of a false reality. It's Mars. You don't want to be of a reality that is from something like that. If something is trying to create that here on Earth, you know how earlier, not to do with that particular picture, however, this picture, you know how earlier I was showing you like then I went this waves rhythm. Look at that. It's cool, huh? Big little thunders. And also heart rhythms. And that's the different perspective. So everybody needs to be their perspective and everybody must save one another and bring back to true reality. You could bring them my quote unquote way. I like that word. I just like the corruption of that word. That's all. So everybody has to love everything and everyone. So that equals the animal giving birth, giving offspring, and the offspring giving offspring, and so on and so forth. Always, always. Don't think in terms of one perspective. Whatever you're thinking something else. Don't think only in that perspective. Think about different perspectives. Because there's always everything, and everything with everything is supposed to realistically be like this. Okay? With breathing, with understanding, with knowing what the truth is, and being able to solve what is true of what is occurring that is false, that is going against what is true. That's what I did. So there's different types of realities of what people are, of what everything is. Yeah. Realistically, truth knows truth. I'm not kidding. Once people understand, then we're on the same page. Because everything is realistically about understanding. He's the correct person. This person is a correct person. And same with me. So I see myself in him. So that was on Facebook, and I like this because of the person. And the person reminded me of truth. Don't think in terms of the perspectives that you're thinking. Think in terms of all perspectives of reality. Infinite, you know? So that's how you're supposed to think. However, at the same time, you're supposed to understand, hey, you know, this is wrong. And this is what we're supposed to do instead. And just focus on that and then on the most correct. Because that equals people are not understanding everything correctly. Because something is less than what is true. And people are entertaining and dwelling in all these things that I don't agree with. That I actually call those people those words too, so they can wake up and realize what they're doing. You know, I don't want to call people viruses. I don't even want to like. I don't want to even call people a lack of understanding. I don't even like people. I don't even like people calling people dumb or stupid. I know many people have done that throughout the past, and life is a past, present, future. So I want to be able to create a reality where everything can be spoken about. You know, past, present, future, and so people can understand each other. People can understand each other. People can appreciate one another, and people can know the truth, and knowing the truth, people can understand the truth. And this is what happened from beginning till today. Realistically, like it's making sense in terms of what occurred. The entire point is for it to be an absolute point. Matter of fact, there's always supposed to be an absolute point. How? Because in every element of reality, there's a sacred geometry, and that's an absolute point. Sacred geometry. You're supposed to this air pocket that is here in this space and time is the water. However, like this. You see the bubbles? The bubbles is the voids, is those pockets here in this reality. So what we need to do is we need to be true to understand what the truth is. We have to change and understand what the truth is so we can make correct choice decisions. So the truth is the fact that in any given element, with any given element of reality, somebody's an absolute answer. Wow. So planetary number one. So um, the point is everybody's supposed to be one. Everybody's supposed to be Christ consciousness, Neo. So Neo Christ consciousness is the awareness and the person being true. Live reactions, live opinions, see where that's stemming from. Because somebody's showing a different type of vision. So Christ consciousness is similar to Neo that everybody must be the answer. The answer is good. To yourself, to someone else, to someone else. This is the answer. Once the answer is known, it's practiced, applied, and therefore manifested with reality. I know the time is 1 a.m. for me, and for everybody else, maybe 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. and 6, 7 a.m., 5 a.m. and maybe a different time. Maybe no time. Okay? So I think people are doing a wide variety of tests. There's like many elements of consciousness occurring here in reality. That's funny. Wow, different types of perspective with reality. So I'm just trying to collect everything, you know, and everything with everything. I'm trying to unravel everything with everything that's occurring. Hence, the formula is always followed. The first ones are always there. Second one is always there. Third one, so on and so forth. All of this was, yeah. So that's what happened. Also, part of the element of reality. There's nothing wrong with that. They're just a part of reality that occurred. So that was not supposed to occur. It occurred because of the way reality is all over the place. You notice reality is not the way reality is supposed to be. So I'm having a different type of delay here, and I did this. Somebody's trying to draw something a different way, possibly. What are these people? There's some type of a noise going on with Ray, and there's some type of a psychological test occurring, possibly. That's funny. This is broadcasted everywhere. I think some people are trying to gain an opinion of something or something. Well, that's always occurring. The thing is everything's supposed to be understood correctly, and if not, if something isn't understood correctly, it has to be understood correctly, so something can make sense. And so everywhere, all forms of drama series, if people are doing some type of a test, is weird. People are doing something just to see what it's worth, possibly anything, and that's not how anything is supposed to be either. You know. So there's various different types of realities and different perceptions of what people are doing. And realistically, people understanding something, knowing something, saying something is the answer. Okay. So realistically, you know what matters? All things to do with what is true. There's some type of other math occurring. I know some people may think that they're wrong. I know some people may think somebody else is wrong. However, you both may be wrong and you both may be correct. So save each other is the point. Don't mix anything with anything. The reason I mentioned this reason, not exactly, not why. Thinking the same. Yeah, we are. It's fascinating. Okay. So reason is with a purpose. The purpose is this. So something that is good in terms of people realistically realizing their true self. So, I know life is, I'm just trying to best understand one another, with like everything, because that's who I am. That's the math. That's okay, people have to understand. Even if people make mistakes, just understand not to repeat them, because so the point is nothing then. So remember, some people, what they're doing, what's supposed to happen is the formula generally, so people can understand one another. Because I believe something else is occurring, some type of other math, some people say. I agree. The other math has to do with different perceptions and perspectives of what people are doing and what they're also making other people do, and that's a problem. People are doing the same thing differently and maybe worse, maybe less than, maybe something else, maybe something else. They're doing the same thing though in various elements of reality. So people know what they're doing. There may be a purpose of what they're doing that I can agree with, and people can agree with, and everybody can agree with. However, there's something else going on that I don't agree with. That what I don't agree with is not coincidental. That what I don't agree with is the problem of reality. So while people believe this, believe all of that, what is realistically occurring is something else. So there's something else may also be some type of vision somebody's showing. To do with something of someone else's privacy in terms of something that possibly reminded something of some type of noise and then therefore some type of vision. So you know what I always think about? I think about the person being me. I see myself, my true self, I see everybody. That's true. What else is true? Everything I've been saying in terms of something that is making the most sense. Because think about people are saving what is true. People are saving everything that's mislabeled. People are saving everything and everyone. That's what needs to occur. So I have a problem. I equal everybody. I'm everything in terms of everything that is true. So everything else is a misconstruct of reality. Realistically. And what all need to do is simply be the answers. That's what people need to do. Because some people are, I don't know what they're thinking, what they're doing, what they're fascinating about. However, I know that that's only a part of bits of reality. It doesn't really make sense with the totality of reality. And I feel like that may not be the answer of what people are thinking about, you know? And so there was so many different things that possibly people thought about and created and didn't understand the truth. and therefore made a wrong choice or a wrong decision. Okay, I understood earlier too what was occurring in terms of people saying it is important, significant. People are saying, "Oh, okay, you're trying to give me that vibe," you know, trying to give me that vibe. I understand. So realistically, that's realistically about the fact that we're making mistakes, the fact that we're attempting to try different approaches, and understanding that that may be the answer. It's a big, so funny. Let's see. You see, that's also significant because somebody's trying to possibly make something or someone see with a reaction of something from someone. The reaction, I know what the test is, I know what the math is. If something I do that is not anything that is wrong is equivalent, then that's beyond that, no one can do anything. However, I would suggest know the scenarios. You don't know how people may be feeling. You have no idea what people may be feeling at all. You know, and then people doing abnormal behavior isn't the answer. So you have to understand everything what I'm saying in terms of how I understood everything. Me also doing something in terms of everything, understanding all perspectives to mention what I'm mentioning. I'm not just mentioning something just to mention something. I'm mentioning something with understanding of what is occurring. So what is occurring is people did wrong maths. They don't understand that what I'm mentioning. Realistically, people have no idea that realistically what I'm doing is very significant. And what people need to be doing is also be true also, because that is what is keeping everything intact. Everything else is some type of disruption is going on. And so I'm also saying everything with everything too. And this is taking a little bit longer than expected because of such a huge thing that occurred in something or someone's life in terms of what something was. So I don't know what some people are trying to say. It just to me it doesn't make sense in terms of a specific location and a number. You know, so some people think I didn't understand an image. I did. Obviously, obviously something doesn't make sense to mention immediately on various things of what something is. However, the point is that something is wrong, and something or someone is testing something or someone, and something or someone had a disconnected signal, and so that disconnected signal has to be known of what that was, because people are in different perceptions and perspectives, and until everything is known, something may be done rushed, done quickly, you know. So I think that's what people stop. It's good. Something was forced, something was rushed, light reactions, light opinions, and answers, and wrong maths and behind. And so I think, remember, any form of nonsense vision, you're not supposed to be doing, because something is not what true reality is. Versus something that is true reality. I think what some people are doing is, well, while I'm doing something, they're doing some type of psychological test of how something could have been. Nothing further than that. He's correct. Just that was what something or someone said. Wow, I can't believe people thought this was what was normal. Well, I guess everything is that known. It can be that known before something. That's good. Makes sense. No wonder. Yeah, no wonder. You have to understand. Understanding you know what the truth is. You know what the reality is. You have to be that reality, otherwise everything else is false of what is occurring, and that's what people have to wake up out of, because they're going against what is true, the very same nature of themselves, just a different part of nature. So I think this is an experience that I've done to myself to understand this experience. To understand another experience, to understand another experience, Okay, so I'm visioning something to do with what I'm sure the people are aware of what they mentioned to me. People were testing me to see what reality I fit more, what narrative I fit more, because there was something else occurring. There was too much. There was so many. I'm just trying to see everything from everybody's perspective while everybody's doing what is correct and true in terms of stopping physical emotional harm and all beings being in caring hands and with puzzles and where they belong. Nature loves everything and everyone. Nature does. That's what nature created itself. However, nature also got corrupted and therefore people got corrupted. So people have to get uncorrupted and nature has to get uncorrupted. Everything has to go backwards to move forward. I don't agree with a wide variety of things that are going on. People possibly don't agree with a wide variety of things going on. However, what people are disagreeing with is what is true. Me and what I'm mentioning and what I'm saying. People are disagreeing with what is true. How can you disagree with what is real? You can't. That's something that you cannot do. That's something that is out of the question. And the word cannot has to be can't has to be also another word also too, substituting that portion. Why? Because that's also a false perception of reality. Meant to do with reality. Only a false perception. So the image from all over the place is going together, and I think that is true with various other elements. The question is the fact that more elements are considered, the better everything is. And the more everything makes sense. And so the point of the matter is that there are points to the matter. So everybody needs to realistically wake up to the truth of who they are and not something they're not. You know? Because there's talkers and then there's people that talk and have something important and significant to mention because everybody's talking. Everybody's talking, however, if you have something important to say, that's what matters. It's fascinating. Life is fascinating. The important point is people understanding each other, considering all the elements, and doing so. I think someone is still alive. Hmm. Fascinating. Preserve what is true.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. But they fought with extra timing. There was Funky Chinaman from Funky Chinatown. They were taking them up, they were taking them down. It's an ancient Chinese art, and everybody knew their part. From a fainting to a slip, and a thinking from the hip. It was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning.
You have to understand everything correctly to do something with understanding everything correctly. And I show this because look at the face. You have to understand the story correctly. I love this song.
at how many children die in Somalia before their 50th birthday. At just 2 years old, Salma is battling malnutrition. Save the children reach there in time. After months of treatment, Salma is on the road to recovery. This holiday season, it's time to turn hungry into fun, vulnerable into protected, dangerous todays into promising tomorrows. It's time to make change for children.
There was something else that occurred on me. I don't know why. It didn't make sense, to be honest with you. That's the entire point. To many people, numerous processes didn't make sense. In other words, where 1 plus 5 equals 75. Wow, so fascinating, man. Life is very fascinating. I was just recalling something. So I'm not joking. When people go through correct processes, they manifest into who they are, who their true self is. This is powerful. Something that is benign, something that is a flower, is very powerful. It is a definition of power. People have to wake up from all realities and understand what the truth is. The definition of power is something that the earth creates that is good for the earth, every form of life. The only correct food is technology. Start. I had to start somewhere. People have to wake up, understand the truth of everything. So I saw a vision, some type of a movie vision. I don't know if this is a buyout. I don't even know if I want to do that. So I don't know what type of agreement some people agree to. All I know is I wasn't part of that agreement. So the whole point is that's not the answer. Therefore, that cannot be true. What else is not the answer? That no one can change anybody's belief or perception. Everybody's perception and belief must go back to their belief and perception. Our perception is not who we're supposed to be.
Experience a personalized approach at Elements Massage Studios because you're one of a kind and your massage should be too. Give the gift of self-care this holiday season with a gift card. Visit elementsmassage.com for a studio near you.
Hmm. Okay. So this is what people, the reflection was. This is what realistically they created. Should anything in creation be what is true? Yes. All of reality is matter. I'm seeing a vision of a past me when I was about, I don't know, a teenager. And somebody's linking that with something else. I'm trying to see if I believe that. No. Good. So some people, what they say, what they think, what their vision, people think something is stemming from them. It's not stemming from them. Let me try and get a live reaction, live play for me, possibly. Something that didn't make sense. Not even for a second. So I think some people call each other daddy. That's weird. You stop. Don't do that. Don't call each other daddy. Nothing to do with the answer. So anything that's not the answer, remember, you're not a part of. It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with you. So what's somebody said Simone way or something? See, notice how it makes sense and doesn't make sense for me to mention that. From my understanding, something is true of what I'm understanding. Nothing to do with what is false. In terms of who assumes more, who doesn't assume more, who knows the answer, who doesn't know the answer. I know this is this time that I'm speaking. However, I had something significant to mention, and I think now is time for me to go and recover. I think there's been a wide variety of things that nothing to do with reality versus something that has been. someone distracted something. Someone distracted something or someone. Somebody is going with exactly what I'm saying. I think that was a distraction. Somebody knew what that was. That was the answer. That's how quick you have to be. Sometimes that doesn't work either. The point is to understand what is occurring. Because there was something that occurred. What occurred was a distraction. From the answer may be exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly what they're following. What they're doing. This experience is not an ordinary experience. The correct true reality must be everybody getting out of brainwashing, not in brainwashing. Because otherwise there's a Mars situation. So I know life is made of various elements of reality, however, not the elements that we perceive to be true. And that's what also life is made out of also. What we tend to perceive to be true. Or what we don't tend to perceive what is true, even though what we don't tend to perceive as true is true. So I think what people need to do is they know what I know. Guiding something to be the perfect version of self. People got something correct, and various other people. Notice how the story may be different. You know, you take an hour's worth of story, you introduce something in later times, you know what the story is. That's that's what needs to be understood. And that's what needs to be because That's what the answer is. If people are simply the answer, there's never an issue. There's never an issue. And I think what that is to realistically practice and apply the answer to be the answer. If practicing and applying, you can't be the answer. So, from this perspective and this perspective and this perspective, all is a page, all is a book, and everyone has one. And for that to continue, I suggest everybody be aware, everybody understand, everybody on the same page in terms of that was bound to happen. Everything that people are thinking is not going to happen is bound to happen because there's they're supposed to agree that they're supposed to be the basic principles. I think what some people did is something didn't fit a narrative. Just a matter of who's going to draw and frame and make people assume on one another. Don't be a part of that. That's the virus of reality. Somebody said 200 Shingi. And somebody said that for 4 years now. So who was the first person to say that? I want to know who that first person was 4 years ago. I said, your house be built. I've heard this over 20 times. No. Yeah, more than that. Somewhere around that time. The point is not people painting something. In other words, everything has to be true. From the least trusted to the most trusted, and check who's mislabeled. So look, the perspective of something that is false cannot be. The perspective of something that is true can be. I think people, I think, are beginning to understand the story a little bit more. Doing so, everything is starting to make sense. So I think what people are doing is going around and trying to see what level of consciousness people are and doing something fair or just. So understanding something through a correct timing, correct perception, correct reality, version, everything has to be true. So yeah, no wonder that all of this occurs. That's fine. With a purpose, with a true everything, true direction, everybody guiding one another, saving one another, is the answer. People have to wake up to it, have to be aware, have to understand, have to prove, have to go through changes. Because then you start understanding reality from the reality's perspective of how reality is, not your perspective, because your perspective may be off. Versus what the truth is. Not your truth, the planet's truth in terms of everything to do with this, the absolute reality, not your reality, because your reality is not that. Your reality is less than this, and this doesn't work. In other words, So people have gotten the story wrong, I think, in various elements because they're not seeing something from a perspective of what the perspective is realistically without all everything else that was occurring because that perspective is false, is less than what is true. Can't be. Has to be absolute. Everybody, foundation, you have to be absolute truth. People have to see who does everything the most correct. The absolute truth is what is good. Okay? So some people are moving faster than others or something. It's like a horse race to see who beats who makes people believe this or this or this or that. That has to stop. Because why? That has nothing to do with reality. It's false. It's less than what is absolute truth. You can't know this and not be this. You have to be this. That's the answer. Once something is truth, you're supposed to be the truth. There's no something else that some people are playing. They have no idea what they're playing, what they're doing. You less than, less than, less than, less than. Everything is less than. That's not true. Nothing to do with what the truth is. So, what do people need to do? They're supposed to basically understand themselves. To do so, you have to you have to literally be the answer, not in surface level, however, in all levels, in terms of 360 levels, in all elements. And the problem is everything to do with anything that is less than what is true, that is going in the nature of reality. That's the phenomena realistically of what is occurring. Everything else is false. Because if this is not preserved in terms of this change everything accordingly to, everything else is just temporary. And the problem is they can't be. That has to be reverted. Because why? There's a rush, there's a different math, there's a test, there's this, there's this. There's all sorts of perspectives, thousands and millions and trillions and billions of even infinite perspectives of infinite, of infinite, of infinite. And realistically, what people need to do is understand that what is true is supposed to be preserved in all elements of reality, and preserving what is true is the answer. I think some people are trying to get different perspectives in terms of what I was mentioning.
My name is Greg Anderson. I head Command Generation here at Kiddo. Kiddo is a K-12
You know, it's funny the fact that there's so many stories and all of them may be lies. Yeah, somebody's definitely trying to teach a story or something. Well, I'm feeling myself feeling good naturally. Somebody's trying to copy that, possibly unnaturally. There's a purpose, and there's possibly something that is less than. So that may be the issue, and that needs to change and be the most perfect in terms of the absolute truth in all elements and all levels of reality to be able to be the change from thereof of what that is. What that is true reality. So you're supposed to change accordingly to understanding and practicing and being the answer. So I recycled my nails the other day. Okay, and to be honest with you, felt good. I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Recycling my nail, and that's what I did. And I put in a Ziploc bag, and now I have my nails. In terms of my nails, nothing else. That's what that equals to. And somebody's trying to equal it to something else. So it's funny. Uh, so life, you have to do something on your own to understand things. Refrain from any form of harm, though. Don't do what I do. So what this equals to is, yeah, there's a lot of important matters. I feel like what everybody needs to be is an absolute reality, with all elements. Yeah, so people are talking about something else in terms of capturing. No, man, they just had a perspective. They thought something was something. Nothing was true. That was that. There's no thought. There's no issue. Some people see from a different perspective. They create a different perspective. See from a true perspective. Nothing is there. People either create this or overthink this. See, this is what I'm able to understand of what is occurring here in reality. So fascinating with everything that's ever occurred. Some people have different perspectives and they do something differently, and somebody else do something differently, and so on and so forth. Yeah, everybody has something else to do.
voice will say they're proud. They're proud of what I've been able to accomplish, but I'm not there yet. There's still much good to do.
Yeah, it's true. There's numerous mistakes and things that people are doing they're not happy with. However, they're not even mistakes, they're correct from various perspectives, and various other perspectives that are less correct or wrong, and vice versa. So the point is both are wrong and both are correct. However, not really. If I'm correct, something's wrong. I'm not kidding. So be aware. Yeah, and be aware of one another and know what's going on and understand that people have to be the answer because otherwise there's problems and they don't want to be part of the problem. They don't want to be part of the problem. No one wants to be a problem to something else because that's a problem. And that problem is to something else, and that's a problem, that's the infection. That's the disease. That's what's going on. People are not seeing. People are not understanding. Well, good thing I'm in the picture of that because I just explained. And now they can see the solve that delusional perspective. So remember, there's not supposed to be any form of nonsense occurring anywhere here, or anywhere here on this planet. Everything must be reverted back, and everything is saved. Even the wrong people that you just have to they have to be aware and stop, so everything can change. So this equals everything. Yeah, so there's different types of perspectives being played without somebody understanding everything. And it's like picking a page. You know, you pick a page and you only see something. Something similar to that may be occurring. So, okay, so there's a lot to the story. The important thing is everybody has a story and everybody is truth, so everything can work out correctly for everyone in the correct timing with everything being realistically unison with one another. Because something is possible, it's just a matter of understanding something correctly and what is true, build thereof. Be true, and whoever's cussing in terms of some type of Spanish cussing, you have to know or something. I don't know what to say. I think people have personal issues. They putting on one people and then seeing somebody else's reaction and not liking their reaction. So just don't do that because that's not part of reality. What is part of reality is something that is relatively true. Is part of reality, and so the So what needs to occur is I think people are seeing each other in the totality of everything too, in terms of what is occurring. It's fascinating. So remember, words. This conversation started with words. There's good attachments with words, and then there's people playing with words. And I'm mentioning the problem in terms of what the problem may be, any form of dysfunction or abnormality that needs to be reverted back to, changed back to how something was. There's no problem with anything in terms of nature, bugs, humans, anything in nature is no problem, because that's a less of what reality is. That's the virus of reality. So obviously, with people understanding what the problem is, they can stop the problem. You have to understand to care, to know that they're a part, and they're going a part of their reality. You're not supposed to go against their own self, yet that's what they're doing. So there's something there where something is the answer, and then there's something there where something needs to be the answer and changed to be the answer, because everything to do with people being the answer in all elements of reality, of the elements of where you're supposed to consciously be aware, is to realistically snap out, you know? And wake up to what the truth is. And then after that, understand. So, yeah, people need to stop. People need to spread love. They need to good music, good vibes, good everything, everywhere, always. To get us out of this predicament that we're in, to then be on one page, and then a chapter, in 2, 3, 4, 5, with basically true measurements and understanding everything. Where everything is safe and fake sense and true direction. All else is false. We can do everything else. Why can't we do something that is true? Of course we can. It's just a matter of understanding and changing the being to know, to be a part of.